What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Saturday Night Live with the Crypto Queen. My name is Tammy Sapnowski, and I am the Crypto Queen. And tonight you are entering the court of the Queen. On trial, we have a few different gentlemen, Logan Paul and a guy named DNP3, which I have to be very honest about. I've never heard of this guy. I didn't hear about him until the beginning of this week when he sent out a tweet that was like the slap heard around the world. I mean, apparently, he did his community dirty for about $9 million. Now, the reason that this guy is so famous, DNP3, he's known as the Oprah Winfrey of Twitch. He's doing all kinds of giveaways, giving stuff away. He wanted to be the new Mr. Beast. Now, initially, when I had read the article on it, my thoughts were, okay, maybe he's using the money to buy items to give away, and this is how he's going to buy his fame and his infamy by doing all of these giveaways. But apparently, it's like it's even way worse than that. So, I have been following a few different Twitter threads, and there's a lot of people that, have gotten seriously hurt by this guy. Good morning to you too. This guy always calls me blonde. Good morning to you too. Welcome to the live stream. And okay, so let's get to some of these Twitter threads because I think it's, very interesting. First of all, let me ask you this. When you find out that let's say you're invested in a cryptocurrency and the lead devs there, let's say they run off with everything that's in the deployer wallet. They've taken everything. They've rugged the thing. They've milked it dry, and you've lost everything. Maybe you lost your life savings. Maybe you invested your family's money. You've lost a lot of money, right? It's gone. Who are the people that stand up and say, oh, this poor dev, this poor guy, I hope he gets the help that he needs? Obviously, those are the people that are not invested in that project. Can we just say that? Because anybody that's invested in that project and is losing any kind of money, they're not going to be so forgiving and nonchalant about the information that he released. Basically saying, yeah, you know what? I ran away with all your stuff. I smashed and grabbed you and took all your stuff. What is up? Maddie B is in the house, everybody. Maddie B has been missing me live because oh, Maddie, yes, I lost a lot of money. 50K. Maddie, did you lose money in KlueCoin? Did you lose money because of DNP3? Or did you lose 50K just in cryptocurrency this past year? Because I have to be honest, we all took a bath this last year in cryptocurrency. So, KlueCoin dropped 70% upon news of this guy's tweet. And I did make a video about that last week. But for those of you that didn't have an opportunity to see it. Where is it? Oh, I thought, where's this guy? Okay, so this is his tab right here. So when we go to this, on January the 3rd, he just releases this Twitter thing. Okay, just basically says, I'm sorry, and we'll go over what he says. And, is this sufficient? I don't know. This is DNP3 addressing the community of KlueCoin and Goober's NFT projects, and of course, any of the other projects that he may have been involved in as far as developing them. There's no easy way to deliver this news, and this is by far one of the toughest messages I've ever had to deliver in my life. Over the last year, I got incredibly addicted to gambling. Every dollar I could find, I would put into stake in hopes of winning big. Even when the big wins did happen, it wasn't enough. Eventually, I lost everything. In addition to my own life savings, I also irresponsibly used investor funds to try and get my money back from the casino, which was wrong for me for so many reasons. To all of my friends and family and everyone who believed in me, I am so deeply sorry. There aren't words to describe the level of shame and guilt that I feel. I can no longer live in this dark world, and this is my attempt to break free. I am now completely broke, both financially and spiritually. My sense of trust in myself is compromised. I'm working with a help group to start the path to recovery. I will create a separate tweet which will have next steps for each project I was involved with, including Clue, Xenia, Gridcraft, and Goobers. I am sorry that I betrayed your trust. I'm sorry that I did not live up to my values or integrity. I am sorry that I let you all down. I am sorry. And that's basically, that's basically all he's got to say is he's sorry because, when you get caught red-handed, well, he didn't even get caught, right? He fessed up to it. He admitted it because he had nothing left to lose. He already gambled away all of the money and he had nothing. So that's when, when you hit rock bottom, that's when the addict goes to rehab. When they're cut off from all of their financial means, they're now homeless, they don't have money to get their next fix. That's when they're going off to rehab and not a moment before. Who is the person that's like, oh, I hope you get the help that you need? Someone who didn't lose anything. Yes, we all hope that if this is indeed true, that he gets the help that he needs. Fine, perfect. Well, but what are the next steps? How are you going to make investors whole? Because speaking of whole, it's about $9 million. So there are some people on Twitter that are like, buddy, wait a minute. No. Not so fast. They don't believe any of what and DN3P is saying. Getting all the information to Zach as I can possibly can. I want to be clear and provide my statement. So these are some of the other projects that he's involved in. New Cyber's a fund, 100% fine. Gridcraft funds are MIA. Ooh. Pixels will continue to build as the game and nearly done anyhow. I was the one that found the proof of DNP3 lying. So I decided to press him yesterday regarding the development. As the terms were, Gridcraft would do development, I'd do the marketing community. I decided to push the information harshly and very direct after he's constantly anyway, I can't read all this. It's so teeny tiny. There are so many people saying, you know what? We've been calling this dude out for not 1, not 2, but 3 years. We knew something was wrong with this from day one. Why did it take all of these people to lose their money for anyone to realize what the hell was going on here? Now, in case you guys don't know who Mr. Beast is, Mr. Beast is notorious for doing giveaways, $50,000 to rando people, buying brand new trucks off the lot and blowing them up, like doing ridiculous stuff, filling somebody's house full of Coke cans, like all this ridiculous nonsense. I think that's what DNP3 was going for. He wanted to be known as the new Mr. Beast. I think he was trying to buy his fame, right? Somebody else is like, no, you know what? I don't think that's what happened at all. I think what this guy did was he just legit took the money. Like he's now rich. He didn't lose anything. He pocketed all of that money and now he's just filthy rich. So as of 15 hours ago, it appears that there continues to be money coming out of the deployer wallet. And people are like, oh my gosh, like, how does he still have access to the deployer wallet? How can he still manage to get funds out of there? Because according to this person, Rutalamo on Twitter, just did some late night research and found out DNP3 is still robbing the Clue Coin community after gambling all of the community funds 17 hours ago. 1 ETH was transferred to Binance. Locked this man's account and he's showing the blockchain right there. But it's it's very sad. I'm like, there's a lot of people that are red hot on this guy, this Stefan Graybeard. He's all over the place. He actually reached out to Coffeezilla and he's like, Coffeezilla, you have got to take a look at DNP3 because what he's done to the community is is horrendous. I mean, it wasn't just one community. It's all of these communities. It's Glucoin, it's Xenia. It's although I don't think there was funds put into Xenia, but like a lot of people lost that $9 million. I'm trying to find this one tweet where the guy was like, no, this guy's not a gambler. This guy's just a legit liar. Everything that he said is BS. He just pocketed the money. I'm going to try to find it. And that was the chart. It dropped by 70%. DNP3 himself, the man who stole millions of dollars from investors, wrote a victim mentality apology blaming gambling and has since been absolutely silent, is in fact lurking on the Discord, but unwilling to show his face. Where is that one tweet? I thought I had it all set up nice, but apparently I didn't. Let me just back out of this one. Where people were complaining about I mean, who does that? Seriously. How can these people stand by this guy? They're obviously the people who didn't lose any money, right? What's up? Thank you so much for popping by. Maddie B, have a good night. Take care. Thank you so much for popping by the channel. Yep, let's see. The one guy was so upset. Oh, this guy was doing a video too, Prez Plug. Although I didn't see his. There was a lot of people that were upset about it. I mean, just utterly disgusted by him. Somebody here actually said, I don't know if you can hear this.
Truly a pleasure.
Let me pause this. Apparently, there was a giveaway that was done to the American Cancer Society, and now people are like, did he even do that? Did he really give the money to the American Cancer Society, or did he just pocket it? What did he do? They don't know.
Boyz is going to officially donate $50,000. We'll coordinate payment and stuff, but I'm super excited, and I just want to thank you for everything you're doing.
All right. Thank you so much, DNP3, and thank you to the entire Wolfpack for all your support tonight and continuing to support DNP3 through his charitable efforts.
Can you guys hear that audio?
Thank you for everything, bro.
If you heard the audio of that video, but it's ridiculous. So, it's getting all the okay. We already covered that. Going to. What do you do? Okay. So what do you guys think about that? Is that, I mean, obviously that's not okay. Obviously he needs to be investigated. I don't know if the SEC, if this is something they're going to get into, because right now there's no regulations with cryptocurrency. DeFi is a complete free for all. And there's a huge chance that it's unlikely that he is going to face any kind of ramifications. There's going to be no accountability for him, probably, unless people get together and maybe collectively sue him. Like if they hire an attorney to go after this guy, because it's very unlikely that anyone's going to do anything. When you think about, okay, one day regulations are going to come into the crypto space, right? We don't know when, we don't know how many, but eventually it is. Is there a chance they're going to prosecute all of these people that rug pulled people? Do you know the man hours that would take to prosecute each and every single rug pull? I don't think it's going to happen. I think what they're going to have to do when the day comes that there are regulations and that there is going to be a sheriff in town. And when it comes to crypto, they're going to have to be like, damn, there's like 5-10 rug pulls an hour. Okay. How are we going to prosecute? They're going to have to put some kind of threshold. If investors lost like a minimum of $100,000, those are the cases that we're going to look at. But anything that falls under $100,000 market cap, there's probably just too many of them to even get involved in. And then you'd have to educate all of your attorneys on understanding blockchain. And that's not the easiest thing to do. right? They're going to have to dive into that and figure out Etherscan or figure out Binance Scan and go from there and learn the blockchain. That is not going to be an easy process. And then can you imagine taking it in front of a jury? You're going to have to educate all of your jurors on blockchain. Obviously, there's probably going to be a lot of deal cutting, but it's going to be an absolute nightmare. So, do you think this guy's going to face any kind of accountability, or is there going to be any criminal actions taken against this guy? Probably not, and probably no time soon. When you look at people like Alex Mashinsky, who is just still out there, yes, SBF was arrested. But that's because we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar scheme. And there was a lot of big, well-known people that were into it. That's why he got arrested. But something like this, where it's like, it's only $9 million. I mean, come on. It's not all that much, right? It's not all that much. So should we watch the Coffeezilla video? Because, I just find this whole thing absolutely fascinating, that it took so long for Logan Paul to even say anything, right? So this has been going on for a year or more, right? It took a year for Logan Paul to speak up about what the heck is going on with his own project. But he was silent for a year. So now he comes out and he says, well, the reason that I was silent was, there is an investigation going on. And basically, like, my attorney told me not to talk about it. But he made a video addressing what Coffeezilla had said. And it just, you know what? It didn't play out well. It played out like you didn't really tell the real story, and now I'm going to sue you. Where I think everything that Coffeezilla said was factually correct. And I think Logan Paul got enough blowback with people saying, dude, you're so wrong. Do not sue Coffeezilla because you'll lose. Anybody that says they're going to sue Coffeezilla or anybody else, they always wind up losing. They always look like the bad guy and stupid, and they always retract it. So what happened? Logan Paul dirty deletes the video and then comes out and says, you know what? I was a little hot under the collar when I made that video. I shouldn't have made it. No, I'm not going to sue him, but we are looking into the scam of what happened with CryptoZoo and find out who were the scam artists. So, Coffeezilla was very clear. It wasn't Logan Paul. It was a scam. Logan Paul and his manager didn't sell tokens, but the other guys were scammers. So even though you didn't scam, it still was a scam, Just like if you go to a bank and there's people, you drive a bunch of people to the bank in your car, and one of them decides to rob that bank. Guess what? You're in trouble for bank robbery. And then you let the person get back in your car and drive them home. You're now in trouble for bank robbery. That's just the way it goes. Okay. So let's watch this video. Am I allowed to do this? Oh, well, we're going to do it anyway. If I get demonetized, oh, well. Let's view in StreamYard. Is it happening? Okay. You guys, will you let me know? Oh, Loki Lloyd says, reminds me of the BitBoy Atozi situation. Exactly. Think that worse because there were way more scams he promoted. Yeah, that's totally, I was thinking of the Atozi thing because Atozi actually came out and remarked on Logan Paul's video, was like, come on already. Guys, let me know if you can hear the audio here.
On my own project. We put hundreds of thousands of dollars in it.
It should be playing, so can you guys let me know if you hear it?
Plus, we had an issue with CryptoZoo, where our lead developer took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, and like held it hostage for $1 million.
He literally never paid me anything at all, ever. And he promised me, 5 pursuit tokens and $1 million. He literally never paid me anything.
This reporter says Eddie's entire story is fake.
The biggest reason it failed, in my opinion.
Doug, I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
There's some actual out there.
Yeah.
And it's not me. Like, I'm here to build.
Welcome to part 3. So far, we've discovered fake orphans, millions of dollars stolen, and a cast of sleazy characters. But now, it's time to put it all together. What is the truth? And who's to blame? We're going to start by going through leaked text messages of the CryptoZoo team to understand all of their motivation. Then we'll go to blockchain evidence and show who sold what. And finally, we'll confront some of the people responsible. But before we can do any of that, we have to...
So we already know that he didn't sell any of it, right? Logan Paul didn't sell any of his manager didn't sell any of his. It was these other guys. And who's to blame for that? So if you're building a huge project that you have your fans investing in, isn't it incumbent upon you to make sure that the team that you assemble are good people, that they're trustworthy people, that they're, I don't know, maybe criminals, that they don't have a criminal background where they have previously stolen from people? Don't you think that that would be an important thing to do, to check people out, to make sure that they're on the up and up? Especially if you're bringing in people that are your fans, that completely trust you. The only reason they're putting money into that is because of you. So the least that you can do is to make sure that the team you're assembling are good people, trustworthy people. And apparently he could not do that. Okay. That's just something that Logan Paul just didn't consider doing.
To start in March of 2021, 6 months before the token even launched. Our 4 suspects, Logan, Crypto King, Eddie, and Jeff, are in a group chat discussing CryptoZoo, which starts as a copy of something else. Quote, "I like imitating crypto kitties," Jake the Crypto King says. Logan replies, "I agree." And initially, it wasn't called CryptoZoo at all. It was called Crypto Pets, and they were going to sell a pets token. And pretty early on, it became clear this was all about money, how they were going to sell this thing to investors. In fact, Crypto King said he thought it was worth at least $20 million in only 6 months.
Listen, I don't fault anyone for trying to live the American dream and wanting to better themselves and make some money. We are a capitalist system, a capitalist society. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I think if you are, or I believe that if you're bringing people in, that, you should make sure it's a legitimate investment, that people aren't going to lose their money. If you're the face of that, like, let's say if which I would never do, by the way, because it's just too much nonsense. But if I were to make a cryptocurrency project, I would make sure that all of the developers had background checks, that they were completely on the up and up, that they were already wealthy people. This way, I know that they're not looking to just make money off of this. But look, I would want to protect the people that I was bringing into it. And of course, I would be personally invested. I would make sure my family was personally invested. This way, you got skin in the game. There's people there, not only your fans, because there's only so much that you really like and respect your fans, but if your family's money is in there, you're more apt to protect the people that you really care and love about. That's what I'm saying.
Saying the range is insane. $20 to $210 million. It's beautiful wherever we land. Eddie jumped in at this point and talked about how he could sell the project as an investment to a friend, Matt Higgins, saying, quote, "He has to spend that $350 million somewhere. Why not us?" And Logan says, "I love that idea. Crypto King, I'm in." And of course, you have Jeff saying, "Let's go." So you can see right there, they wanted to sell this game before it had even launched. Now later, Eddie amends the list of investors and says, quote, "Investors will be Gary Vee, Todd Morley, James Altucher, Ryan Kavanaugh, and others confirmed on my end." Supposedly, they had $100 million of investment interest. Now, I actually went to some of these investors and asked if this was true, and the one person who responded denied it, Ryan Kavanaugh. Quote, "Nope, not even a little bit." So this looks like it could be yet another lie from Eddie Ibanez, but either way, it looks like there was more issues than just finding investors, because the team wanted to pre-sell tokens, and not everyone was sure it would be legal. Jake the Crypto King mentions that, quote, "If we have a pre-sell, it opens us up to SEC issues." And Jeff agrees and says, "Don't want to do anything that brings the SEC eyeballs." Now, not everyone wanted to be so cautious, though. Logan argues everyone does pre-sale with coins. Eddie agrees. He says, you absolutely can do it. I have the SEC down, private and pre-sale. And honestly, it was quite the dilemma for this team who wanted money. You know, do a pre-sale, make millions, but, you know, you have these potential legal issues. Don't do it, you make less money. So Crypto King comes up with a middle solution. He says, if we can't sell, no pre-sale. We can still trade them in the liquidity pool. And this is the start of a new disaster, which takes a bit of explaining. Now, just so we're clear, a pre-sale is where you sell investors coins, usually at a discount, before you've launched. And then when you launch, you give them those coins. Now, like I said, the team didn't want to do that. So what they did
now, because we're in the cryptocurrency sphere, we know all of these little things, right? We know what a pre-sale is. We know what coins are. We know all that stuff. The reason that he's very, you know, on point about all the different videos anyway, but he's being very specific here about pre-sales and this and that, because he knows that a lot of people that are fans of Logan Paul that don't really know that much about cryptocurrency, they're watching this video and they don't really understand that much about cryptocurrency or the whole scene. So he's really got to go into depth as to what all of this different stuff means. And by the way, worst thing that Logan Paul ever did was respond to Coffeezilla, because the only thing that he did was get eyeballs on this very video. So his people that are fans that didn't know jack diddly about Crypto Zoo or how investors lost money with Logan Paul, now they do, because he responded to this Coffeezilla video. Ain't that a BITC? You know what I'm talking about.
instead was they bought the tokens on the open market right after launch. But they tried to get clever with it because they didn't actually announce that they were launching this coin at all. They stealth launched it on June 11th and didn't announce this token through Logan until August 18th. Meaning they had all that time to silently buy up as much of the supply at a steep discount as they wanted. And the idea here was that doing this, the team could get these tokens extremely cheaply, which is kind of like a pre-sale, but, you know, without all the SEC troubles. Crypto King makes this clear on June 7th when he says, quote, launch of the liquidity pool is where huge money will be made because you get in cheaper. And then says, we, the team, begin buying out the liquidity pool once the team has exhausted funds for the liquidity pool buying.
Just so you know, what they're discussing here, that's not really illegal. It certainly is not. That's just the way it goes. If you're an early investor, you get in there first. That's the way it is. But just because something, let me make my face really big here for you guys to understand. Just because something is not illegal does not mean that it's ethical. It's not ethical, right? So we already know that I'm working with some unethical people here. It's not illegal, but it ain't ethical.
We send the contract address to friends, family, investors who want to be able to get in.
So they want them to get in before you.
We buy first, then we give it to our close friends and family, and then maybe the public eventually, right? And even the day before, Crypto King reminds everyone, quote, Zoo Day is tomorrow. I highly recommend everyone get a few $100 to a few $1,000s in Zoo when it goes live. It will likely 10 to 1,000x. So that was their plan. Rather than doing a pre-sale, they were going to do this stealth launch and hopefully get tokens cheaply the same way, but without all the legal troubles. Or at least that was the plan.
Giving your body what it needs to thrive doesn't have to be
dreaded ad. Hold on a second, I'll get rid of it.
Because on stealth launch day, this is where things first started to go wrong for the team. At first, everything seemed to go normal. The team sat in a circle and literally bought it out as planned. But the next day, Crypto King says something odd. Quote, a bot is playing with our token. Kind of cool to watch them work. But he doesn't mention who this bot is. And he also says the asshole finished selling, but doesn't mention who that is. Now, Jeff, Logan's manager, replies upset. He says, how do we prevent someone doing what they just did again? We went from a $130 million to $26 million market cap in 2 hours. It's not cool to watch. Logan jumps in. Yeah, wait, how did that happen? And he also says, what asshole? How did anyone get this token except for us and none of us sold? And I think actually this is incredibly suspicious because the implication of what Logan's saying is, hey, we tried to scheme this really well. We tried to all buy this without letting anyone know. How did anyone else figure out we were buying it, right? And this is where a fight ensues. That's going to become really interesting. Crypto King deflects.
So obviously, there are people that watch live new pairs, and there's also those automated bots that can go in and buy stuff. But I mean, that much money, who's buying it?
By saying,
right?
My buyer pushed it back up to $40 million. And Logan says, no, bro, F your buyer. Explain to me what just happened and how there were 30 token holders. And Jake tries to explain that this was just traders and bots happening to find the token. But Logan says only 5 of us knew about it. Jake says, well, many people chase volume and new tokens. And to some extent, he's kind of right. But Logan replies, cap. He doesn't believe it. Quote, I can't be the only one who thinks that's too incredibly convenient. Like someone was tipped off. And look, no one's more critical of Logan than me. But as I'm reading these texts, I was kind of like agreeing. Like, yeah, it does seem too nonchalant when somebody's ruining your secret plot. You know what I mean? Because Crypto King was acting very strange. He says, we created $40 million out of thin air. This is a success. Logan replies, this nonchalance worries me. F 40 million. It was at 120 million, which again, it's all about the money with these guys. But truth be told, I did agree that Crypto King's attitude seemed strange in these texts. I mean, he's not wrong that bots are a thing. Traders are a thing. But it sounded like he didn't want anyone to look into it. So naturally, I looked into it. And what I found surprised me because there were bots, but there's also unusual human activity during this time. So I tracked the 5 biggest buyers of the Zoo coin. And lo and behold, this is what I found. Logan was one of the biggest buyers, which is what you'd expect, but he wasn't the biggest. In fact, 2 of the biggest wallets seem to be associated with Crypto King himself. And here's where I paused. I said, wait a second. Why did this guy buy more Zoo tokens than Logan when this is mostly Logan's project? I thought Crypto King was a small part of this team. And so to get more info on this, I actually got access to an internal meeting note from the day of June 11th, which they called Zoo Day. And in it, we find actually some interesting information. We see that 5 founders bought in. They apparently were, quote, trading in circles until each person maxed out. But on the list of buyers and how much they spend are only 4 people, when we know 5 people bought. We have Danny, Logan's assistant, for 20K, Logan Paul for 100K, Jeff at 100K, and Eddie at 100K, but Crypto King is nowhere to be found. And yet, on the blockchain, I have him putting in $200,000 worth. And this number, by the way, seemingly is confirmed in a conversation I had with Crypto King, where he said, my 200K investment. And the reason this is important is because it does imply that something shady was going on the day of the stealth launch. Because Crypto King had a relatively small role in this whole project. He was the advisor, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Like you can see from the internal meeting notes, they have a breakdown of who's getting what in terms of founder tokens. And like Logan Paul's getting 51%.
It's just all bad, right? Like, you just can't trust anybody anymore.
Getting 5% of tokens, but he has the most of these like stealth launch tokens, which makes no sense. And it got me thinking that maybe what explains this suspicious behavior around like, oh, don't worry about who is buying at the time of the launch. Maybe that's explained because perhaps no one knew that he was buying up large parts of the token supply. Maybe he was buying it to sell later. Now, of course, that's speculation. So that's why I confronted Crypto King on all of this. But before we get to that call, let's address the elephant in the room. Logan didn't accuse Crypto King of being a scam. It was the other way around. Crypto King told Logan Paul he was a scammer. And the question is, why? Well, to answer that, we have to go from June, the stealth launch date, to September 1st, the official launch date of CryptoZoo.
September 1st, cryptozoo.co.
Now, the day of the launch was a bit strange because you might think, well, they already have a token, right? But the first thing they did was actually create a new Zoo token with a different code, but the same name. And they actually airdropped all the holders of the first Zoo token with an identical amount of those coins on the second Zoo token.
Oh, this is too long, and I'm sure all of you have seen it. So that was the Coffeezilla. We're not going to watch that whole dang thing. Forget that. It's too long. Everybody, I'm sure, is probably already seen it anyway. But what was weird was the response from Logan Paul to this. He went on a show, podcast. He was freaking out about how Coffeezilla, now he basically has no integrity. He's just a drama channel. He's using my name for clickbait. He's trying to gain fame and notoriety off of me, Logan Paul. Can you believe it? And of course, he was talking crap. Bear in mind, this guy said he liked Coffeezilla. He's actually one of his Patreons, respects Coffeezilla and his opinion and all of this. And now all of a sudden, because he's telling a story about him, now you're singing a different tune, right? That's the way it always goes. But once he got the blowback, he put that video out there. He's like, let people marinate in that for a little bit. Let's see what, I'm going to feel it out, see how my community feels about it, see how it goes. And once people are like, yeah, you look like a total D, that's how you came off. You're an even bigger jerk than we even thought. He was like, okay, I need to delete my video. I need to just put it out there that, I was wrong. Coffeezilla is good, and I recognize that he didn't say I was a crook. He said those other guys were the crooks, but Logan Paul was still very defensive that using the word scam may not be correct. Maybe a mischaracterization of the project. Just because you didn't scam people doesn't mean that it wasn't a scam. Okay? That's how I feel about it. Now, getting back to this DNP3 guy. I had a tweet and I'm so upset. I don't know where it went to, but it was these people talking about how this guy made off with $9 million. And I'm bummed that I can't find it because I had this whole thread from this person and I guess I just never be able to find it again. But anyway, this is someone sharing a screenshot of him speaking just a few days before he's like, oh, too bad, so sad. You guys, I'm an addict and I lost all your money. He's basically bragging to somebody. He's like, set for life. I'm the G and I'm set for life. No worries. So this guy says anyone showing this dude sympathy needs help in their heads. Laughing my ass off. Manipulative AF. Look what he's saying just days ago. And this is what he says. He's having a conversation talking about building something, building the map, ? This person wants to remain anonymous. Yeah. And event prefab. DNP3 says, if you want to get on Xenia and drop off some gifts, hop on real quick. Those losers offlined us last night. They literally battled Metric Xenia and just wait for players to sign off. It's so pathetic. I feel like banning all of them, laughing my, I got yelled at for giving you C4. I will fire him, DNP3 says. And this guy comes back, LOL, don't ruin your project. This guy does good work. Don't ruin your project because your ego. Now, this is me talking, obviously not. It's not on the screen. Don't ruin your project because you're letting your ego get the better of you. This guy works good. Keep him on board. DNP3 says, I'd rather ruin this project than give those losers any satisfaction. I'm already set in life. I want to teach them a lesson. Does this sound like somebody who's like, you know what? I'm so sorry. Mea culpa. I've made some mistakes. Does that sound like that? Or does that sound like somebody who's got $9 million tucked under their mattress getting ready to take off? I'm just saying, it sounds like somebody who's got $9 million under their mattress. So this is a tweet from Stefan Graybeard an hour ago where he puts on January 2nd, which is the day before he released that I'm so sad and a gambler tweet. DNP3 transferred 10.5 ETH to Binance on January 2nd. January 3rd posted his admission to the defrauded crypto projects. Then today he transferred 1 ETH through his wallet to Binance. So he's still withdrawing money. And this guy even shows the receipts. That's the beauty of blockchain. Xenia Rust is saying, listen, we're shocked and disappointed by today's revelation. DNP3 will be stepping down from KlueCoin. Xenia and other projects. Xenia can and will survive these changes. But I think it's going to be hard for people to trust anything that this guy was in. Right? Like here's the Goobers, Lil Goobers projects. I mean, it's very sad. A lot of people lost, and this is him, right?
I didn't see it there.
I'm sorry, Dirty Cults. Wait a second, they called, dragged me out for saying this crap fire. I got blocked. There's so many people that said, you know what? There's just something off with this guy. Something's not right with this project. Something's going on. Please beware. And nobody really took them seriously. And we're talking about, like I said, not 1 year ago, not 2 years ago, but 3 years ago, these people were talking out about him. So yeah, I mean, it's very, very sad. Now this guy's implying that, oh, this guy is so funny. This Tito James, he has his own whole Twitter thread about it where he's like, told ya. Hey, you probably seen that DNP3 has admitted to being a fraud. This is why Grid Gaming IO, which he owns, has not been paying winners. Many USA hosts are expressing shock at the news, but I've been warning people for 3 years about DNP3. 3 years, this guy was like, something's not right. This is so funny. Look at DNP3. I found a new lawyer for you. Just because you did it doesn't mean that you're guilty. That's funny. So this Stefan Graybeard has been all over him. I put this on KlueCoin Discord where DNP3 has been posting occasionally his responses below, but he didn't like my suggestion that those funds should be used to start paying back what he defrauded, and he muted me for 24 hours. I hate that. I hate that when somebody asks a question or they do something, they make a statement, and they either get blocked, kicked out, or muted. That's a problem. When somebody is blocking your means of communicating to the other members of a community, unless you're just like a crazy futter. And even then, like people would I don't know. I'm kind of torn about it, to be honest with you, but this is what apparently the little bit of a back and forth. DNP3. This is so hard to blow this up here. Let me go back and make sure it's on the screen. Yep. That was a loan I took on an NFT because this Stefan Graybeard was bringing receipts to him. Hey, what about this 10 ETH that you moved? What's up with that? What happened? That was a loan I took on an NFT. Wait, so it's total to 9 million now? That's not what he took. That's his total wagered on the stake. So he bet 100K and won 100K, but bet the 100K, that would be 200K wagered. Zeus, that's all insane. That's a huge amount of money. Oh, absolutely a huge amount of money. Just not a reflection of how we deposited from external accounts. And then Stefan replies, a loan to start paying back those you robbed? Right. So, I mean, it's just, it's sad. It's sad. A lot of people lost a lot of money. Now, I believe that it's 9 million and not 90 million. Just to be clear. Just to be clear. Can't share the same empathy, mate. That statement doesn't show the truth. At Stefan Graybeard and NFT Llama have exposed him, the things he has done and said over many months. Okay, let's see how much of people's investments he lost. So here it is. This is a screenshot of what he's wagered. Jeez. That's a lot of I mean, I don't know if that's a fair screenshot to post because I cannot glean too much from that. That is like a small snippet. There's nothing here to reflect his name. Like, I don't know. But that's, if the top one is him, that's 4 million. The one below it is 81 million. So I'm not exactly sure which one they're implying is his. Addiction is a horrible thing to experience or witness. Faking addiction is a low that only a narcissist has gone to lesser their sentence legally and in a court of public opinion. That proves that. So I don't know. It's just not even 24 hours and DNP3 is running more giveaways. Anyone entering should be aware that he defrauded millions of dollars of followers and partner. He's still doing giveaways? Oh, no. No. Oh, what's up, Rule? I'm sorry, I just came back to the screen. I didn't see you there. Where's this guy getting money to do giveaways? And even if he does have things to give away, he needs to give stuff. Let's say, I think the last thing he was giving away was like this crazy computer that was worth a couple of $1,000s. He needs to give that crap to his people that lost money. He needs to try to start making the community whole. I don't know how this guy's going to get $9 million. I don't know how he's going to get that much money. Where are you going to get that? I mean, even if you're just like an average working Joe person, I don't know how much money he generates from Twitch or YouTube or Twitter or any of his other streams of revenue, but it can't be that much money, right? Let's say he's pulling in 6 figures a year. Let's be generous with it. Okay. Let's say that with his Twitch, and if his Twitter is monetized and if he's getting anything from YouTube, let's say he's making $200,000 a year, to be generous. How the heck is he going to pay the community back $9 million? I really don't think there's any way that he can do it, right? And my question is this: does he actually intend to pay people back? I don't think so. So it's now, so do we want to talk about the Andrew Tate situation? Or, because here's the thing, a lot of the crypto brothers, they like Andrew Tate. They like that guy. And it's not that I don't like him. I was almost going to say, it's not that I don't like him, but 100% I don't like him. But there was this really good video that I watched about this attorney who just absolutely pulled up old footage of Andrew Tate speaking and how he basically dug his own grave. Like, he basically said all of this stuff in different interviews and on podcasts, or he put things out on Twitter. Like, this guy is the biggest witness against himself. So let's watch this video. What's this guy's name? Oh, CLR Bruce Rivers. CLR Bruce Rivers. I mean, Andrew Tate is just, I just don't. Okay, now I just want to let you know that this is from 5 months ago. So if you recall, it was about 5 months ago that Andrew Tate was arrested for the suspicion of rape and trafficking, right? But he was released. And according to him, he's got that accent. He's like, I was swatted. That's what happened. I was swatted and they had to let me go. But they didn't really let him go, because instead of like putting him on trial right away, all he said was, or what they were doing, they were gaining evidence and putting their case together, gathering evidence, building a very strong foundation for the charges that they would later bring. Has been brewing this whole entire time. So him saying he was swatted was complete BS. let's get to this video. I freaking love this guy.
Good news, New
Genius.
Jersey. If you need health insurance, now is the time to
And
get quality, affordable health
I
coverage
think you
through
can
Get
hear
Covered
it,
New
but
Jersey.
just let me know if
Established
you
by
can
Governor
hear
Murphy,
this.
Get Covered New Jersey is
Hear the
offering
audio.
increased plan choice.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Stop self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. CLR Bruce Rivers. I am that guy. I am Bruce Rivers. I am board certified criminal defense lawyer, board certified by the National Board of Trial Advocacy and the Minnesota State Bar Association as a criminal trial specialist and a criminal law specialist, which means I go to trial and I win more than I lose. Anyway, today's episode is brought to you by eforms.com. That's eforms.com. If you are doing anything legal and you want to take a stab at it yourself, you're going to need a form, right? So go to
Oh gosh, no, I gotta fast forward this.
Attorney, whether you need a business agreement, whether you need a rental
I
agreement.
don't want to hear this. Anybody trying to hear that?
Flexes, you know, do I flex a little bit? Tiny bit, but do I really flex? I don't really flex. I'm real. I got a real life. I have a mortgage on my house. I go to work every day and I represent clients. Sometimes they're pains in the asses. I have a regular life. I'm not flexing like these guys do to get clout.
Who is idolized by a community of other males online. But Andrew is not just a typical phony that's pretending.
Take a look at this guy for starters. I know nothing about him, okay? But I can tell you this: I wouldn't let him date my daughter.
No, I
Something
wouldn't.
he's not for a little bit of YouTube views and Instagram followers. He really is a multimillionaire. He really is a kickboxing world champion, but he's also accused of being a money laundering Romanian mafia ally who runs a global sex trafficking business while selling his Make Money Fast course, dubbed Hustlers University,
Whoa.
to his millions of followers.
Why does that
Most
happen?
videos covering Tate just focused on the surface level.
Whoa.
If my chick said I want to do OnlyFans, I'm like, all right, then cool, go do it. How much you made? 10 grand. All right, give me 8. All right, cool.
Why would what woman is going to give you 8 grand?
Because you're my woman. You're doing OnlyFans. You're selling my product.
Your product.
Yes, correct.
Can you believe that?
No.
That's the world we live in now. Females are entitled and fucking lazy. Another thing I learned is that women are only loyal to the dick they're sucking.
He says these shocking and bewildering ideals to get a rise out of people. Those reactions, whether they're good or bad, lead to more views and obviously fame.
So that is one thing that I don't do. I mean, do I do a little bit of shock? Not, I mean, a little bit, but I try to make it fun. But what I do more than anything else is I try to keep it real. I try to entertain and I try to educate. But I don't change who I am to do that. And I don't think I'm all that in a bag of chips. Like this guy, he and his wife probably are in love with the same person, himself, which he probably doesn't even have a wife.
Followers, a strategy as old as time.
No, let's get to the videos where he's looking at his videos where he's talking about how he starts the webcam girl business.
Producer, you were afraid.
Hold on a second.
The woman just said that hair.
No. Crap, I hope I can find it because it's so gross how he's talking about smacking girls around and keeping them in line. And this is how you gain control of girls. You know, make sure you don't give them access to their money or. Come on, Tammy, where is this? Let's see. Hold on a second.
Slavery is coming to the world. See, that's one of the things these hustlers, these con artists do, is they try to make you feel.
I know. I thought it was for sure it was that one. I don't want to watch this whole video, though. It's crazy long.
Hyundai Elantra wins.
I definitely don't want to watch his beginning.
He's going to be on the police blotter. So I wouldn't be surprised if down the line, guess who we see on the blotter? We see Mr. Tate. I knew
This is where he predicts he's going to get in trouble.
Just because I don't like him. It has nothing to do whether I like him or dislike him. this is a legal analysis show, right? I mean, that's the thrust of it. And one of the things I talk about is
Stop self-snitching.
And so, and one of the things that I was trying to comment on is that there's a treasure trove of stuff that he's put out there to show that he is probably guilty of the crimes that they're talking about. And all the stuff that he's put out there can be used against him, not taken out of context. So what is he charged with? He's charged with sex trafficking. And I would venture to bet that maybe even some tax stuff might come down the pike. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Sex trafficking, there's unless you're dealing with underage, when we don't have any evidence that anybody's underage. But we have three things: force, fraud, or coercion. Force, obviously, that's like being in chains and not being allowed to leave. Fraud, being kept there under false pretenses. If there's an element of fraud in the way that you are enticing somebody or keeping somebody in a particular position to work for you, and if it's in the sex business, that's sex trafficking. Or coercion, threat of harm, or some other way to limit your movement. And so let's kind of look at one of his very first videos that he did. These are his words, not my words.
This is Andrew Tate,
self-incriminating.
He's an attorney,
We'll play this.
defense attorney.
Just make sure I'm not taking things out of context.
When you say webcam company, people assume, oh, it's just a sex fest. But in reality, it's a shitload of people management. The HR category of the webcam business is the largest and most important thing. You're effectively taking girls, teaching them how to make unlimited money from home, and then making sure they give it all to you.
So you're making sure that you're teaching girls how to make a shit ton of money and give it all to you. Now, this is one of his first instructional videos. A lot of guys, he's got a lot of fans. And a lot of guys think, oh, in order to have some wealth, you have to have a Bugatti, you have to do this, you have to do that. In order to have wealth, you have to have self-pride. You have to know who you are as a person. And where do you get that from? You get that from building, as I've always said. So I do two things. I like to be motivation for
16-year-old
guys and women for that example.
That is true. He's going to be
Who
locked
are
up
looking
for
at
a long
maybe a
time.
possible direction.
Yeah, especially in Romania.
So I like to motivate
around.
people in a very positive way. But the other thing I do is I do offer a legal analysis of what's going on here. Right off the bat, he tells you that his main goal is to have them work for him and him get all the money.
Webcam studios everywhere. There's one webcam studio down the road called Studio 20 with 100 rooms. 100 rooms, 8-hour shifts, 3 girls a day. That's 300 girls a day working, and they all work on LiveGasm. So if you're going to go on LiveGasm, you're going to be competing with big-time guys. And what you want to be competing with is people at home in their bedrooms. You don't want to be competing with serious businessmen, because I know for a fact, Studio 20, the owner of Studio 20 and the owner of the website itself, Liza Yasmin, are friends, and they've got some kind of backhander agreement. So all the Studio 20 girls appear high on the web page. They appear at the top of the page. Obviously, if you're going to go on there, you don't want to scroll down 10 pages to find a girl. You're going to go to the girls in the first row. All his girls appear high up because he's giving the guy a backhand. It's all this shady business. It's a huge competition.
So you can see his main thrust is just making money. And he doesn't
Yeah.
give a shit how he does it, really.
Mhm.
He's going to tell you in a second here the origin of the story. And he's repeated these same concepts through multiple.
And by the way, I'll say it again. This is a capitalist system. Not that this case is happening here. Obviously, he's been arrested in Romania. He's in trouble in Romania. But people are afraid to make a living. And women are 100%. Let me put this on big screen so you can see my face. Women are 100% allowed to make any decisions that they want to make with their own body, or make money any way that they want to make money. It's when a woman is forced, like he said, if someone is coerced or forced or bribed or blackmailed in some way, you're coerced to do something, then that's a big no. Women are completely allowed to do whatever they want to do. But if a man steps up and starts doing this to them, forcing them to do this or coercing them in some way, that's when the illegality comes in.
Full interviews, right? And so when you say I'm taking things out of context, we've sourced this and sourced this and sourced this,
and he's repeated it multiple times. Is something when you hear who he wants to compete. He doesn't want to compete with the main factories. He wants to compete with the girls that are at home. So it kind of that gives you an indication that he's going. You know, it's like in nature, I suppose. It's you go after the weakest.
Now, I've told very shortly my story, how I kind of started my whole webcam business. I'll tell it again in detail here. I was fighting. I had some money. I had 70,000 pounds in a safe in my.
One of our viewers had indicated that he's gotten most of his money from fighting. He had 70 grand, 70,000 euros or pounds or whatever he had, and that was it.
Bedroom in my house. I wanted to buy property in Thailand and move to Thailand. I needed 80,000. I was 10 grand short, and I thought I'd go to the casino and make the 10.
That's also telling. Hey, I'm going to go to the casino and try to make money when he's not even a gambler. Guys, stay away from the casino. There's a reason that they're so big.
Which was obviously we all know how that story went. So I lost 30. So now
DNP3. Stay away from the casino.
I need 40. I needed it quickly. So I was sitting there trying to find a way to.
That's how cocky he is. He needed money, and his first thought was, let me take my money and just go to the casino, because how hard can it be? I'm so smart. Like, I'll just go over there to the casino and win a boat ton of money. It's only somebody cocky and conceited would think that.
To make money. So how can I make money? And what I did was I said to Tristan, I'm literally not leaving my room until I have a way for us to make more money.
Thank you.
I can only fight so many times per year, and
I don't. Thank you.
So I got a pen and paper, and I was on YouTube, like researching, how people make money, what millionaires have, and they kept talking about assets. And I was sitting there thinking, what assets do I have? I'm trying to buy a property. I mean, I didn't own a property in the UK.
Now, think about the word asset. What is an asset? Well, I suppose this hat is an asset. It's not worth much, but it's really the brand is worth a lot more than the hat is. But what is an asset? The office, the building, your brand, those are assets. Things that you own are assets.
Times I didn't pay any tax to anyone. I didn't want to pay taxes, so I didn't buy a house to confirm it. So I was like, what?
And keep in mind, keep that tax theme in the back of your head.
Assets do I have? Okay, I have a car, I have this, I have that. And then I realized I had about 5 girlfriends, all smoking hot. And females are an asset.
Females are an asset. Whoa.
Attractive females are absolutely an asset. And if you disagree with me, walk in the club with 10 blondes and you'll see who the most important guy in the club is. Fuck the champagne shows.
Who the fuck cares who the most important guy in the club is? The most insecure guy in the club, it's important to that guy. But it should never be important to you to be the most important guy in the club. What should be important to you is the people around you having their respect, but having their respect not because you're walking in there with 12 blondes.
I've walked in the club with 10 girls, and there's guys next to me doing champagne shows. Is anyone looking at their table or my table? No one gives a fuck about their table. Pussy is the most important driving force of this planet. Pussy is the only reason that empires were started and wars were waged. It's the only reason all you guys are out there are even interested in having money. If there was no pussy about, you wouldn't care about having money. You'd say, oh, I'll have a little bit of money and I'll just play chess all day. I don't care. I'll play video games. The only reason we want cars and clothes and 6-packs and houses and shit is for girls.
That is so simplistic.
Girls are the driving force. So when I realized I had all these assets, I had to find a way to monetize the assets.
Now remember, the assets, are something you own. He's got 5 women that he believes are his assets. Now he's going to make money off of them.
I knew some street pimps. I've known them for a long time. Straight street pimping is a completely, in fact, no, it's not a completely different game. The psychological aspect is the same.
So now I'm not taking things out of context. He's saying the psychological aspect of what he's going to be doing is the exact same psychological aspect of street pimping, and that is control.
He's a pimp. Yeah, he brags
What
about
we're
it.
going to do. The skill I'm going to teach you is exactly the same. I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp with the things I'm going to teach you. But I didn't want no one else fucking my girl. That's the truth. My girls. I want to fuck my girls. I want some other guy fucking my girls. What the fuck's the point in that? So, long story short, blah, 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 blah. Discovered webcam and went from there. Flew all 5 girls in at once. Sat them all down. So I've been going out with all of you. Here's the truth. Starting a business, you want to make money or not. 2 decided to stay. 3 started crying, got back on the plane because they're all different places in the world. I had them for when I was fighting. So I went and fought in Slovakia. I've got a girlfriend. Went and fought in France. Got a girlfriend. Went and fought. So I had all the girls around the world. So I told them all to fly in, sat them all down together. Like, who the fuck are all these other girls? I was like, okay.
And he probably didn't even pay for the plane tickets. So he's saying he had 5 girls abroad because he was an MMA fighter. So he had, like, you know, a woman in every port. So he had them fly in. And meanwhile, they sit down at a meeting. There's all these other girls there. They're like, who is this? There's like, oh, I'm doing all of you. And by the way, I want to pimp all of you out on my cameras.
Okay. Truth time.
Because you're an asset.
Bang.
All these other girls probably think they're exclusive before they come to him, right?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he lays the truth down. What is that's deception from the very beginning. His words, not mine.
I'm a G.
I'm a G.
Fucking you all.
I'm a G.
I'm gonna start a business. You're all gonna live here with me. 3 got back on the plane. 2 decided to stay. 2 weeks later, 1 left, and so I was left with 1. But starting with 1 is good. But those 2 weeks, I fucked them together a few times.
The G,
1 girl's
as
all
he
you
calls
need.
himself, started with 5.
One
now
asset.
he's down to 1. How much respect would you have for the 1 girl that's still standing there? The 4 girls, thank God that they had the sense. But really, who is the bigger man? Is the bigger man that?
No, before I carry on with the video, I just want to, you know, I know it's easy, would be easy to pass judgment on the girl that stayed, like, oh, this stupid broad, she stayed there. You know, who would say yes to this? But please just think of if this was your sister, or this was your mother, or this was your aunt or niece, or somebody that you cared about. Put a human face to it. What would you do? Because, you know, women, when they fall in love, they fall hard. And all of these women, I'm sure, were in love with him and wanted to please him and wanted to be with him. And he probably convinced this girl to do it, charmed her and convinced her to do it. You know, the lover boy method. So please don't think too harshly of the women. You know, put a human face. Imagine it's somebody that you care about. You don't want them being hurt just because they fell in love and made some bad decisions.
That's the fucking poser who walks into a club with 12 girls, or is the bigger man who is the honorable guy who stands by his family, raises a family, has a decent job, goes to work every day, is solid. I'd rather go to a pub than a club any day. When you are that guy, not the G, but when you are a solid guy where you're there for your family, you're not trying to manipulate anybody, and you're a provider for your family, and you are
And it's so funny because a lot of people who are like, they say that they're so against human trafficking and they're so against all this stuff and they hate Satanists and all, they are like supporting him. They're supporting Andrew Tate. It's like this guy is a self-professed trafficker. He talks about it. We'll get to it in the video, but how can you stand beside this guy? If you've ever said that you don't like people who traffic or you don't like rapists, how can you stand by this guy? How?
a solid, straight guy. That's the G. That's the person who's the real man.
Your goal is to inspire a girl to make money and give you the money.
Your goal is to rip her off. That's really what he's telling you. Those are his words. I'm not taking anything out of context. We're not chopping this up. This is his little seminar that he was pitching to all these guys out there who think he's got something to offer.
So the way you're going to do that is you have to have some element of influence, and you're going to have that element of influence through her respecting you, looking up to you, and her believing she needs you.
Now that is a critical thing. You know, the old pimps, what they would do is they'd find some young girl at the bus station. This is an old school kind of thing, or the mall or whatever. And they shower them with gifts, and then they think they're the best. And, you know, and these are chicks that don't have any self-esteem whatsoever. And then they start working.
Like Ghislaine Maxwell, right? With Jeffrey Epstein. He would send Ghislaine Maxwell out to round up these poor young girls to convince them to go spend time with this guy. It's no different than that. It's no different than that.
Working for them. And then, but it's a slow process. But it's a slow process of mind control and physical control. Control with money, control with emotions, and actual physical control.
And this is extremely important because at the beginning, she will need you, but then she won't need you. But you have to keep that fallacy, keep that dream alive.
Fallacy. That's his word. His word. not taking this out of context. So she'll need you at first, but then she won't. But you have to keep her convinced that she does need you. That's how you control. That's the control part. And it is a fallacy. And what is fallacy? Fraud.
She can't do this without you, to ensure that she doesn't do it without you. So this is what screen share is all about. Effectively, this is the way the business works. The girl sits on the camera. Now, when the girl is on camera, and you would have seen from my promotional video, that was at the height of my webcam empire.
So you can see her.
The blonde in that video I'm still with now. You'll see from there how we explain that there's people typing or pretending to be the girl 24 hours a day. So it hasn't got to be 24.
That part, I suppose, is fine in terms of a business model, but it's fraud. I mean, he's the one typing, and so you think you're getting all excited by something she's saying, and here you're really communicating with Andrew Tate.
But that method is very important for two reasons. First, let me explain how it works. Listen up, motherfuckers. So the girl's on the webcam. She's sitting here. When a girl is on camera, she has a public room, which people will visit, and they will spend money in and talk shit.
And when you think about it, the people that he's appealing to on these webcams are just a bunch of really lonely guys, and there's a ton of them out there.
It is your job to train the girl to talk to and interact with that public room as much as possible. So when people come in the room and say, oh, hey, how are you? She's like, they type. The men type, hey, how are you? It comes in the box. She goes, oh, hey, I'm fine. Thank you. And she has to make sure her public room is engaging and interesting as much as possible to keep people in the room. Now, while the public...
So there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with what he's actually doing. It's the nature of how he's getting the girls there and keeping them there.
She can also receive private messages. And all those private messages you are going to reply to. And you're going to reply to them via screen share on a computer in a different room. As long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network, you're having more conversations with men than a girl could ever have on her own. Because she's too busy on her own. She's overwhelmed. She can't talk to all these people. So some guys you have to negotiate with, some guys you have to do a deal with, some guys whatever. You can do all that shit. But even more importantly,
I'm confused about this webcam thing, what he's saying, because if a girl is if she's on the computer, if she's on a camera and somebody is responding back to you on a computer, can't you see that she's not typing? Right? Maybe I don't.
It makes the girl believe that she can't do it without you.
That's a recurring thing, that she can't do it without you. She is reliant on you. She needs you. And why is that important? Because if she thinks she can do it on her own, guess what? She does it on her own, and you've lost your profit center. That's what he's talking about. That's why the control is such an important aspect of what he does.
In the beginning, she can, but there'll become a point she can't. But you being here, it synergizes this teamwork energy. We're going to do this together. Yeah, you go on the camera. Don't worry. I'll talk to the guys. I'm going to talk to them. We're a team. Happy, positive teamwork. There's no negative energy in this business. You have to be positive. So by you typing for the girl, you maximize your money, and also she believes she needs you, which is extremely important. Later on down the line, I got to the point where I'd hired typers. So I didn't have to type. So I'd hired girls to sit and type and pretend to be the girls. So I had girls online. I had an office full of girls pretending to type. So I had 4 typers, 20 girls online, for example. Another reason we use Chatterbait is because they will pay you in Bitcoin.
This is another critical part of what he does, and that may impact a criminal prosecution of him later. And if you recall at the beginning of this video, he talked about not wanting to own property because he didn't want to pay taxes. And him not paying taxes is a recurring theme. And
I told them, hey, Mom, I spent 8 years on this degree, but I hate it, and I really want to change jobs. I'm sorry, I know this sounds crazy.
Private messaging.
So if he's avoiding taxes, you can't avoid taxes with Bitcoin. I mean, you still owe the money. If you're making money, it's income. You have income taxes. Just because you're paid in Bitcoin doesn't mean that you don't owe the taxes. So let's continue.
They'll pay you in Bitcoin. You put in your Bitcoin address, and they'll pay you in Bitcoin. And this is amazing because you've all seen the thought audit shit that's going on. You've all seen the fucking legalities of banking. Trying to get money out of these sites into your bank without paying a shitload of tax is actually very difficult.
See, it's that that whole avoiding taxes. And it's not legal to do that. It's not legal to not pay your taxes.
And that was going to be about an hour segment of this fucking thing. But we don't need to do that anymore because in the last 6 months, charity
monetization
released the Bitcoin options. They'll pay you in Bitcoin. So if your girl on there working, let's say you generate $3,000, $4,000, bang, you get Bitcoin into your wallet. Done. No fucking tax, no fault audit, none of that shit. And
this has to be so old if they're having a conversation and they're getting a 1 Bitcoin.
A separate phone with all my girls' guys in that phone, and I kept control of it. And I would speak to them, and before she went online, I would tell her.
You can see he's got a little bit of hair in this video, right? Now he's completely bald. He probably hates himself that he ever made this video and published it because he's self-incriminating.
Like, any basic information. You don't let your girl have this because if your girl ever runs off and leaves you, which is going to happen to some of you at least, you don't want her to have an address book of all the guys she can get money from.
Another aspect of control. You don't want her to have your client list because if she has your client list, she can leave you.
Run off.
So you've got to restrict her information. So it's systematic, and it's a systematic method of control to control these women. Now, these are not my words. These are his words.
And I think he said all of this because he had no idea. This is, I think, prior to him being like, you know, a big, huge, toxic masculinity guy of the manosphere, and that he would blow up and have all of these different followers. This was before all of that. So now he's probably sitting in jail like, damn, what did I say?
Words and his words alone.
You want her to leave and go, well, I don't know the account. I don't have the password to the account. I've never set it up before. I don't know how the banking works. I don't have any of my guys' phone numbers. I have nothing. And that's why they don't want to leave. Because they're like, oh, well, he has everything. I need him. I have to stay with him. He has everything. It's important. I'm telling you, it's a very important element, that control.
It's a very important element, that control.
The girls are like, well, what the fuck do I need this dude for? And they will leave if you don't have every aspect under control. Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax to anybody.
That's not legal advice, by the way.
You need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy, and girls are stupid, and girls don't understand how taxes work. So the girls working with you, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we've made this much money, but I'm going to pay the tax to make sure we don't get in trouble. She's like, okay. Now that allows you to do 2 things. One is another control element.
See how that control is a recurring theme?
He's telling these girls, okay, you know what? We're really 50-50 partners, you know, you and I, even though you're naked in front of the camera and doing all the hard work and, you know, all of the public face. I mean, like, you're basically outed now. Everybody knows that you're doing some porn online, but I'm taking 70% of the money. Well, actually it's 50-50 because, the money, extra money I'm taking for you, that's for taxes. And he never actually even pays it. He's disgusting.
Over and over and over again.
If I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. It's a control element.
And he doesn't have respect for these women at all because he thinks they're stupid.
It allows you to pay her a smaller percentage. So I used to pay my girls 30%. So for every $10,000 they made, I'd give them 3 and I'd keep 7. They thought they were on 50%. And I said that the disparity is because of taxes. So you're on 50%, but we had to pay the tax first, and then it's 50-50. If they say, why is it 50-50? Because I'm the one on camera. You say, because I'm the one typing. I'm the one with the property you're working in. I'm the one paying the bills, the electricity. I'm the one who's, and the electricity and every other maintenance cost of this property. I'm the one who bought the equipment. I'm the one who knows what he's doing. I'm the one with the knowledge. I'm the da-da-da-da-da-da. Shut the fuck up. Go online. And they should be pretty happy with that if they respect you as a person.
Goes off and make me money.
So really, you're paying 30. You tell them you're paying 50. Difference is in the tax. That's where the disparity lies. Taxes. If they don't believe you or they want to get fresh or whatever, print out some tax forms. I see this all the time. I used to print out.
I don't know about Romania, but that's now, if it was here in the States, that would be a federal crime. Federal.
Some random tax forms and say, yeah, sign here, sign this. What is it? It's for the tax. You want to pay the tax or not? Okay. And they just sign away. I don't know what the fucking signing. I'll throw them away afterwards. But they think something's happening. Something real's happening. Nothing's happening. It says me get rich, bitch.
Nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening except for me getting rich, B word. I can't say it.
Except for me getting rich, bitch. That's what he just said. So he's taking another 20% of what would have been their earnings.
Fake tax forms.
Saying he's paying taxes, but he's not paying taxes. His words.
So
having them
cringe.
even sign a dummy tax form.
Can you imagine that's your son?
To try to convince her even more that he's.
And Rule just pointed out that, yeah, his father was a huge champion chess player. Huge.
Paying some taxes, which is just ridiculous. And so what is the middle word? Fraud. That's fraud. Force, fraud, or coercion.
Anyway,
Yes,
so
no.
tax is another important element to
No,
control
no.
of the girl. You have to fuck the girls. You cannot do a business relationship with a female. I'll tell you why. Women have sex with somebody. If they're not fucking you, they're fucking somebody else. Now, a woman's always going to be the most loyal to the guy she's fucking, as opposed to anyone else for any other reason. If you have a girl work for you, you say, look, we're going to be business partners, we're going to make money. Here's your cut, here's my cut, we're going to work together, blah, 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 blah. Here's a fucking, I've had dudes, I've known loads of guys who've like tried to do a contract with a girl, tried to sit there and talk common sense to a girl. When's the last time talking common sense to a girl has ever worked? Ever. If you're not fucking the girl, she is fucking someone else. And that other person she's fucking is going to have the control over her mind.
Again, control. Control her through
Without
money, control her
control.
through information, control her through manipulation, control her through sex.
As opposed to you. And if he controls her mind and you don't control her mind, once she starts to pick it up a bit after a few weeks, a few months, whatever, and realizes how to make money on her own, is she going to stay and keep paying you, or is she going to run off and pay her boyfriend, or them two are going to go traveling in Southeast Asia and she's going to work as she goes, or she's going to go to her boyfriend and say, look, fuck it, you type for me. What you actually turn these things into is Bitcoin. So effectively what a webcam company is doing is mining Bitcoin. But instead of mining Bitcoin the traditional way with huge electricity expenses and massively expensive equipment and space and cooling and all that bullshit, you mine Bitcoin with some pussy and titties.
You mine Bitcoin with pussy and titties. That's what he just said. Did I take that out of context?
He's just a straight up pimp.
My whole
Like,
point in bringing
straight
this up
pimp.
is not
He's
to
keen and
bash Andrew Tate,
Nope.
although I'm not a fan, and I don't care to even pretend that I'm a fan. But it's an interesting case. It's an interesting case because it has international intrigue, but you also have, from his own words, the control aspect, how important it is to control these women. I think the government with this video, with just this one video alone, has an excellent foundation for the sex trafficking charge. But more than that, they also have probably a tax beef that they could levy against him once they start diving into his books. In analyzing this, I really don't want you to think I'm taking anything out of context, because I'm not. But let's see, in his own words, how he's recruited, lured, or
This recruiting is a
retained
big,
these girls.
big thing.
Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling is a great one because the thing is about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat to throw in. Oh, and you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So I'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So, okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen, come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. You, your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl.
Remember Ghislaine Maxwell? That was the girl that recruited for Jeffrey Epstein. Almost identical to what he's talking about here. When you put all this into context, you have the way he structured his business. One of the ways that he's lured the girls is by having another girl there, identical to what Epstein was doing. Now, and this is the danger when you have so much stuff that's out there that's reckless, right? Let's see what he has to say about the Romanian court system and their jails.
Romanian court. So there's some, oh no, not a court in Romania. Dude, they're corruption free. That's the old Put me in jail. I'm gonna walk in there with a pile of money like this.
I'm gonna walk in there with a pile of money like this. Did he walk in there with a pile of money?
Boom, boom, boom. This some hoes. This sells mine. I'm ready. Put me in jail. I don't give a fuck. Take the court case. Shut up.
He's now.
You could spend half an hour preparing for the half-hour status meeting.
Apparently,
Or you could cancel the meeting and share updates in Slack instead.
money.
It's where your whole team is in one place so everyone can stay up to date. Slack,
Have
where the
whatever
future
hell I
works.
want and
Get quality, affordable health insurance through Get Covered New Jersey. 9 in 10 qualify for financial help, and many pay.
In a jail in Romania. He is now going to be subject to the courts in Romania. He just, on this video, I'm sure the prosecutors have this because I have it. If I have it, they have it. Flouting, taunting, showing complete and utter disregard for the Romanian court system, which he's now going to be facing. Now, if you recall, the statement from his own lawyer said, Mr. Tate has nothing but the utmost respect for the court system. Well, that's not what it says here. So what I'm trying to get at here is the case for them to be made. And granted, women may come here by their own will or come to Romania and work for him. But there are statements from women saying they wanted to leave. They were controlled. He controlled their passports. He controlled every part of their movement. Because if they can come and go as they please, he doesn't have a continuous source of revenue. He doesn't have money coming in. And that's his only goal. He doesn't give a shit about anything else. So you tell me where I've taken things out of context. I haven't taken one thing out of context. This is what he's charged with. These are his own words. And every ounce of this will be used in a court of law. It absolutely will. And so when you're looking at rape charges, sex trafficking charges, and I would venture to guess some tax counts, he's looking at some very, very serious charges. And if there's anything that ties him to the U.S. on this, he could be facing prosecution in the United States as well. This is just an honest assessment of this case.
in criminal enterprise, he's
Do
arrested.
I like Andrew Tate? No, but who cares if I like him or don't like him? And I think it would be wrong for me to take things out of context and do a character assassination piece on him, but which isn't what we're doing. But I do think anybody that relies on him for a role model is misguided.
Oh, totally.
He's not an honorable guy.
No.
He doesn't show respect to women. He doesn't show respect to anybody that doesn't have a Bugatti. What color is your Bugatti? What color is your Bugatti? Oh, my Bugatti. Bullshit. You don't need a Bugatti to be respected. And I would never own a Bugatti. And I'm not saying anything against them. They're kind of cool cars. But how much? What does it cost for a brake job? I mean, it's like $25,000 or something outrageous amount of money.
Jeez.
No, the average guy can't do that anyway.
25.
I'm more average than I am. What do you call it? Than I am
As
like
more than should be 400 bucks,
absolutely.
period.
But I like what I do. I like being a criminal defense lawyer. I love being a father. I love being a role model for everybody around me. I love supporting all of my employees and being there for people. I love hearing stories from you guys saying, hey, you inspired me to go to law school.
Okay, well, that was fun with him. Okay. He's great, by the way. And again, just so you know, I'll put this back on here. What's his name again? His channel is CLR. Oh, I haven't subscribed. CLR Bruce. No, I can't read it because I hit subscribe. I can't, whatever. It's CLR Bruce something. I'm sure if you type that into YouTube, that'll pop up. The biggest thing that he admits to in those videos, which is illegal, is the lover boy method. When you engage with someone online, let's say they live in a different country, and you talk to them and you pretend that you have romantic interests in them, and hey, you know what? You and I are very close now. I feel connected to you. You're special. I would love to spend time with you and, get to know you better. Why don't you come on and fly over? These girls fly over. Now you're face to face with this guy who continues to be nice and wines and dines you. And now he's talking about, I love you so much. I'd want you to move in with me, you know. But now moving in with him means that you got to be in front of a camera. And believe it or not, trafficking, rape, criminal enterprise that he's been arrested on, the criminal enterprise has the longer prison sentence. But everything that he's done, that's illegal. I didn't even know about that tax stuff. If they start delving into the tax situation, let's say he just did that to like 10 girls. If you say you're collecting tax money and taking it from them and just not really doing that, obviously I don't know what that is in Romania, but that would be some serious federal crimes here in the United States. Once again, he's not arrested here, though. He is arrested in Romania. And one of the reasons why he's so openly bragged about why he wanted to live in Romania is because they have very lax rape laws. They don't, necessarily just because a girl said this happened to me doesn't mean that, okay, we're going to go arrest somebody for rape. That's not how it is there. That's why he lives in Romania. He said that on video. He's bragged about that in the past. What do you think the Romanian authorities are sitting there thinking? They're like, this guy, ever since the, what was the name of that movie where the kids was it Teresa? No. Where they were traveling abroad, Hostel, right? People believe that movie took place in Romania, and that's like what Romania is, basically. They've gotten a bad reputation since then, and they want to clean all of that up. Because they do, for whatever reason, have this trafficking gray cloud hanging over their head. And they want to be very public with, you know what? That's not actually the case. We prosecute people for human trafficking. We take it very seriously and we do not tolerate that crap. Now, if Andrew Tate, one of the things that makes me laugh about him is he always says how stupid women are and women can't have their own businesses and they're just not to be trusted and all this other stuff. A woman can own a webcam business, and you know what? She would keep her mouth shut about it. She would be making herself money. She would be making her girls money. Everybody would be getting rich. He's just enriching himself. When a woman owns a business like that, everybody's making money equally. And they're not online bragging about it. So for as stupid as he thinks women are, who's really the bigger fool? He's on a very public forum bragging about, I do crimes. Look at me, everybody. I do crimes. I do crimes on a daily basis. And here, I'll even give you a blueprint of how I commit the crimes and who I commit the crimes against. Will Black pointed out that his father was a world champion chess player. Okay, world champion. You would think this kid would be, I don't know, a little more schooled in critical thinking, strategy. I don't know. But apparently he's not. Can you imagine that was your son? Like, if he was my son, I would be appalled. I just don't know what I would do. Like, obviously, I would try to appeal to him. Honey, please don't do this. Is this how I raised you? Like, obviously, I would want to do that, but thank God he's not my son. Now, there are rumors that he was arrested because of his tweet that he put out against Greta Thunberg, which, by the way, Greta Thunberg, she totally won Twitter. She won Twitter 2022. She won it with her, email me at smalldenergy at hashtag or at get a life, whatever. She won, but it's not true. They didn't arrest him because of the pizza box that he had. They've been seriously investigating this guy ever since they arrested him the first time. They knew exactly where he was. They probably had all of the warrants already spread out. They knew where he was going. They probably had an eye on it. It had nothing to do with that nothing. Romania is not going to fumble the ball on this. They know there's a lot of eyes on him, and they know a lot of people don't like him, and for very good reason. Regardless of how you feel about Andrew Tate, the fact of the matter is he's bragged about all of these crimes out in the open. But he does have a lot of money. Obviously, he's made a lot of money off of these women. He's going to have top representation, him and his brother Tristan. And by the way, he was arrested with 2 other people. One is that girl, you know, your groomer girl, or he called her the bottom bee. And also somebody who was formerly working with the police department. They think that that might have been like a mole in the police department or what have you. So there was 4 people arrested together, him and his brother Tristan and the 2 other people. So I don't know. I just all lined up. It's just been a very bad end of 2022. And I was hoping that 2023 would be off to a much better start. But unfortunately, it just seems like, not really. It's much of the same, right? People just behaving badly, people conducting themselves badly. It seems like nobody can get along. And with my other Andrew Tate video, I basically just reported the facts that he had been arrested. The hate that I got in the comment section was just unreal. It was unbelievable. And that's what you get for reporting facts, like the Alex Jones video that I did, where I just simply reported the facts about things that he had done. The hate that I got. And I was like, I only said facts. It's only true. It's only true what I said. It's amazing how people catch feelings and they're in the comment section right away because they just can't handle the truth, right? They just simply can't handle it. So we'll have to wait and see what top G attorneys that he brings to the table when it comes to defending him. But I saw a picture today of what a Romanian cell looks like. And it is horrifying. The bathroom is in the shower and it's not a toilet. It's like you have to crouch down and go number 2. And it's in the same little cube as your shower is. Like, that's his life. And he was bragging about how he was going to walk in there with a stack of money and buy everybody off and pay off the guards. And he hates himself right now. He's like, I never should have put out those videos. Well, guys, that's going to do it here for me today. I can't even believe I've been live for like an hour and a half. It's crazy. But I will catch you next time. Maybe I might even go live tomorrow. I'm working on a little something, but we'll have to see. Maddie B, thank you so much, Maddie. I thought you were going to go to bed before. Did you watch the lawyer's video? He was really good. He's very smart. And he's commented on other famous people and what they're going through. And he's very smart. So yes. I'll have to say this, stop self-incriminating, keep your mouth shut, don't be talking to cops, especially if you did it. Keep your mouth shut. Of course, I'd be the one that cops would start asking me, what do you need, officer? Because that's just how I am. I'm stupid. Well, that's going to do it here for me today. I thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, try to only buy on those red candles and please take care of yourself.